complaint. However, that person that might have went to the bathroom to change or to turn their shirt inside out of, they were moved to the beginning of the line. Is that permissible? Considering this election is really intense, and to have someone that's been waiting in line for so long, and I went to the bathroom to turn or to do whatever I needed to do to cover up, and I am moved to the front of the line. They were asking questions whether or not there was going to be some type of security, police, whatever, at the polls. Because there is some people who are and have been threatened because they were wearing their badges, hats, t-shirts, and they're concerned. I, myself, maybe not, I should have done this, but I encourage them, maybe they need to do an absentee ballot. I need to know from you which way should they go with that, and what should we tell them, those that are concerned?
Well, Ms. Marilyn, you said a number of things to me. I want to be sure that I understand what your statement relative to that person having to go to the back of the line.
They were told because of the fact they had to conceal, they were moved to the front of the line when they came back.
Well, I can see where they would have been because they'd already stood in line.
Exactly. Now, having new voters out there and all of this.
What will happen is we have election worker training. This guy and others in the room who are election workers know that we go through an extensive and elaborate process to train the workers on any kind of new thing that would come up. And I think based on what you're saying, that's one thing that we'll take into account. But certainly, if a person has already gone through the line, and because there's a problem, that person should not have to go all the way back to the end of the line. That would be totally unfair. So I will be sure to put something into place along those lines. Now, I was not aware that people were being threatened.
They're being threatened.
By whom, you know?
By whomever. You know, there's quite a few things going on out there. I've been out there since we started this process. Something else you mentioned earlier.
Are these elderly people that you're concerned about?
Yes.
What I would recommend is, you know, since they're elderly, 60 and older, that they cast an absentee ballot. Okay? Now, in terms of security, for every election, the Flint Police Department assigns an officer to my office, so that as I go into the field or if there's a problem in the field, that police officer either goes out himself or herself, or they go out with me, or I go out with him. If there is something that is big enough to involve, you know, more police officers, then that officer would be the point person and so forth.
Okay.
But at this point in time, I don't want to bring any additional fear to the community. Again, go back to what I said before about all these things put fear in the hearts of people when in fact there's nothing to fear but fear itself.
Exactly.
At this point, okay? So I don't feel the need. I know in the city of Detroit they're going to have security guards, but I, at this point in time, do not feel that I should have security guards at any polling site in the city of Flint. To me, that sends a negative message to you all as voters that, hey, there's something wrong here. Okay? So unless something happens between now and the first part of November, we'll continue it the way we have with respect to using the police department in the usual manner. But thank you for the other item.
Thank you.
My question has to do with the picture ID and the address on the picture ID.
driver's license is the same, well, the person's address of record is what appears on the driver's license. Okay? So therefore, if they're in the correct precinct, and they obviously would be, or they wouldn't probably be there, right?
I don't know, I'm not sure, that's,
Okay, let's say I live on Colonial Drive, okay? I go to my precinct, which is Brownell. But in the meantime, I'm out of Court Street, but my driver's license still shows my Colonial Drive address. Okay? So I would still appear in the Brownell School qualified voter list. But I think I understand where you're going with your thought relative to some discrepancies, and I posed the same question to the state, and they couldn't answer me.
it seems like if you're better off just not to show an ID and sign on the back, then only do.
Well, I can't say that, you can say it, but I can't say it. But let me tell you the reason I posed the same question that you're posing to me to the state, and they can't answer me that. And that is because, if you remember, I indicated earlier that with the challenges, they can challenge on three things: residency, namely your address, age, and citizenship. So my question to them is, if a challenger shows up, and there is the difference that you're talking about, what do you do? Because there's a conflict in the law, and they can't answer me. So therefore, I can't answer you, and I'm sorry. I'm going to pose it to them again, Ann, and I'll get back with you. Thank you.
Mrs. Brown, I have a question here.
This is another one of my debutante facilities.
I have a concern, a great concern regarding our seniors. I heard what you said when it comes to the absentee ballot. You said a member of a household. What about the seniors that are living in the senior citizen buildings alone? Can't read. I mean, to me, when I looked at that, just sitting back, I'm like, well, complicated. I mean, really, because you got instructions in there. Is there anything for them?
Well, I believe on the back of the form, it's an envelope. It indicates that if someone assisted you with the ballot, you should indicate that. What we're talking about, and you all know that there are people that go around collecting these things, which is illegal. It's a felony if you took my ballot, for example, and tried to do something, and you delivered it to me, even though I would ask you to do it, it would be a felony if you were caught. But unfortunately, this is the way the law reads, and the law was based on, the change in the law was done back in 1996, prior to my arrival, based on some things that occurred here in Flint. Okay?
So what I hear you saying, there is a place on the ballot that someone could assist the senior, and they would just sign it, basically, right?
Right here.
Oh, okay. So even though I don't live with my grandmother, if I wanted to help my